right, that's how you're gonna get business. Like,
All right, y'all, we are back. I know it's been a while since we've been live, but here we are. We're back. We got Mr. Joey, got Man Up. I'm your boy Sid, and we are here kicking it. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, everybody's?
Man, it seemed like forever since we did this thing. You know, somebody had the nerve to go to freaking training and stuff for like a month. And you know, I don't know. This whole serving the country thing is overrated. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Oh wow!
Joey, I busted his balls. One veteran to another. You know, it's gonna bust his balls.
He's got no room to talk. All right,
none. I got none. I got none. Oh man, so let's. All right, in the wonderful world of wrestling, a lot of stuff has changed since we freaking last talked, guys.
Oh yeah. So what's on everybody's mind? Let's get it off our mind.
Hey, I guess go ahead and you go jump right to the front. That with Vince McMahon retiring due to various circumstances and whatnot. Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan are co-CEOs, and Triple H is back in charge of talent relations and WWE creative. And we're three weeks in, and he is leaving his imprint on that roster very, very quickly.
Yeah,
sure is real quick.
Yeah. One of the things that we have seen is a lot of the talent that he took time to groom in NXT. He after they've been released over the last year, he's bringing them back. I.e., Karrion Kross and Scarlett, Dakota Kai, Io Shirai, now Io Sky. She had one foot out the door. I don't think she was. I don't think the contract went through. I don't know, but she resurfaced. We had Dexter Lumis last week on Raw. Hit Row this past Friday on SmackDown. Triple H ain't pulling no punches, but I'm gonna dig into that. But I want to get y'all input on that real quick.
I'm impressed. I mean, I'm impressed so far. Like, I think the general all the skeptics were talking about, now Vince is still there. He's still running it all, but whether he is or isn't, stuff has changed, and that's a fact. Like, because I mean, a lot of people's favorites are from NXT are coming back, and I think just looking at it, it's some very talented people, and I think they kind of knew they were coming back at some point because they kind of laid low. None of these people signed with AEW for a reason, and I'm sure they might have had the opportunity. Especially there, you can't tell me Tony Khan went licking his chops at Killer Cross. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's Scarlett. That's, you can say what you want about wrestling ability and stuff like that, but those two, the look alone, especially, and her being what she is to it, come on now. Like, you can't tell me they didn't have contract offers and a look too. So I think it's exciting. I think he's doing a good job trying to beef up both, everything at all levels, because I've got to give credit on the way Gunther's been handled since he got to the main roster.
I'm going to touch on that as soon as after Man says what he has to say. I'm gonna touch on that.
Yeah.
Hey, that was the first thing I was ready to say. But let me just go ahead and say this here. I had sent y'all the message that Hit Row is back, and I was saying, okay, let me start off like this here first though. SummerSlam was Vince's last creative thing, reportedly. Mm-hmm. But we all know Triple H put his little spin on it, put his little touch on it.
Right.
Now, I think this here, I can be wrong. I'm not 100% accurate, and I'm never claimed to be. But I'm going to say this. Triple H just took over, like you said, like 3 weeks ago. All these people coming back now. It's been reported that Sasha Banks and Naomi are supposed to come back. That's kind of quick. So I don't know. I'm thinking they was already coming back before Vince McMahon stepped down. That's what I'm thinking. I can't be wrong. I've never claimed to know everything. Never claimed to always be right. Excuse me. Let me move my mic out the way here. My mic is in the way. Sorry. So I might be wrong. Triple H might have just got the ball rolling real quick. Never know.
I mean,
But I was going to talk about Gunther as well. I was going to talk about Mr. Money in the Bank. Goddamn, I can't think his name off the top of my head right now.
Theory.
He's been gone for a while.
Theory.
What's his name?
Theory.
Austin Theory. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think his push is finna get ready to end or slow down, whatever. I think Gunther, however you want to say his name. I say
Walter.
Gunther. I don't care what y'all say.
Walter.
Well, yeah, because my wife is German. Well, not German, whatever. Yeah. But she grew up in Germany, and she's like, yeah, that's how a lot of German wrestlers are, stuff like that. I think they using him perfectly. I think he's finna get ready to lose the Intercontinental title, and he's finna go to the top. There's also been rumors that Triple H is now finna split up the two belts again, like I've been said they were gonna do in the first place. They were just doing something with Roman Reigns at the time. But I am liking what I'm seeing so far. I am. And the only one thing I don't like is now these squash matches are coming back. That's the only thing I don't like.
Well, I get why they're doing it. Especially when you're introducing the new talent, you don't necessarily want to feed them to the main roster or whatnot. Hit Row for example. Brandon Scott was one of the guys who they squashed on Friday. I actually wrestled him years ago, so I actually know him.
Isn't he from where I live? Isn't he from somewhere in Virginia? Brandon Scott.
Yeah, Brandon Scott. Yeah, he's in that neck of the woods. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I get why WWE is doing it. They're also giving it they give them that WWE exposure that whatnot. I think AEW does a better job with bringing in the extras and actually letting them work a little bit. But you know, that's what WWE is known for. Well, the point I was going to make prior to that, not only Gunther, Bobby Lashley, but what Triple H is doing with the secondary titles. First week out, they went to talking about the U.S. Championship, the prestigiousness of the U.S. of it. Last Friday, they talked about the prestigious of the Intercontinental. You have to build those titles up, and both of those titles were the main events of the respective shows.
And the worst thing you could do is take that Intercontinental belt off Gunther right now. Let that simmer. Let it heat up.
Take that belt off of him. You do not do that.
Yeah. And that needs to sit on him for as long as possible. Like
build those titles back up. Like I lost count how many times they said the Intercontinental title is the workman's title, because it is. But it's been freaking downgraded. Shinsuke Nakamura held that Intercontinental title for the longest.
Yeah.
I don't even think he made 5 title defenses with it.
It's not even his fault. Like
it's not his fault.
His name alone brings prestige to that belt, but
exactly.
If you're just going to let him not appear on TV or do goofy skits, like nobody cares.
Exactly. It's about management getting behind it, and Triple H is doing that right.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, tag teams is next. Tag team.
Yep, that's why Hit Row is back.
Yeah,
that's why they're having a tournament for the women's tag team.
Yep.
So
make them, if you're gonna have all these titles, make them mean something, man. Make them mean something. I'm on board with what he did with the U.S. and the Intercontinental. My brother brought up an interesting situation, like as both of those guys, Bobby Lashley and Gunther, keep on the same track. Survivor Series champion versus champion, to see who the better champion is. That will be a hoss fight there, bro.
Yeah. And even if Lashley beats Gunther, he's protected in a way. Exactly. He's still going to carry the belt, and then all you got to do is turn around and feed somebody else to him and get him right back where he belongs.
Exactly.
Because I think the U.S. title, I've heard the criticism that that's not good enough for Bobby Lashley, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, the very fact, the way he carries himself and carries that belt brings the belt up to his level. So, like, now... it gives something it gives a whole like division and a show for Lashley to dominate.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Exactly.
I also think that's a good title for him because he served in the military.
Okay.
So that is a good title for him. He actually served right down the street from my house. You know what I'm saying? Not too far from where I'm living right now. So, and my wife knows him because they both was in the military. So, yeah. And they went to high school together.
Nice.
So
Nice.
Small world, huh?
she knows Bobby Lashley. She knows Bobby Lashley.
He's his baby face
Just saying.
has been good too. Like he's you know, you worry about a guy like him turning babyface without a manager and all that stuff because he don't really talk too much. But I mean, he's over. You know, he the work with MVP as a heel got him to the point where he don't need nothing now. Like he just
Speaking of which, I don't see Omos anywhere.
No.
I haven't seen him in the last 3 weeks. I'm just saying.
That's why I said I don't like these squash matches. That's why I said that.
7 foot nothing of no talent. You know. And I felt bad for Bobby Lashley out there having to work with him and do all of what he can do around him. You know, it's like you can only do so much. You could put a big main event star like Bobby Lashley in there with him. But if all he does is stand there and look imposing, you know,
oh man,
you lost me. Like
oh god,
it's like the great Khali. I mean, Hall of Fame or not, come on, man. Like, overhand chop. That's the match.
Oh man, so
I'm squeezing the head.
That's come on, man. Like you had Batista, Edge, everybody trying to work. Undertaker, everybody had to do magic and try to work with him, but it just never really happened.
Exactly.
Yeah, Omos he just needs to tweak his skills a little bit. He'll be all right. He might not be superstar status, but he'll be all right.
I mean, they gave him to AJ Styles, and if you can't get the rub from him and get they were the top tag team on Raw. They tried.
They tried. Damn sure tried.
Tried to make him AJ's heater, and get him but the eyes were still on AJ, unfortunately.
I mean, when isn't the eyes on AJ, man? I mean, come on,
right.
Man.
He's in his mid-40s and still outdoing everybody.
Jeez, man, that's crazy. That says a lot right there, man.
Same about Lashley. Same as Lashley. Mid-40s, still embarrassing young folks out there with what they can do.
And that brings up another good point. We got to develop this talent that you have down in NXT, so they can get these rubs from these veterans, this next generation stuff. They got a couple guys in the pipeline, man. But it's like, okay, 5-10 years from now, I don't want the freaking like a lot of these guys in the Goldberg treatment. Coming back for the name recognition, man. Hey, the edges, all those cats, man.
Yeah,
all those cats.
I will say I give Edge a pass because he's still producing like crazy. Edge is producing. Now you go like the Goldberg and Brock. Well, Brock is producing too, but Edge is producing.
Yeah, I said, I'm talking about when we're having this conversation 5 years from now. Whereas these guys will be going into the twilight of their lives, they still bringing them out for that pop,
Okay.
Yeah. Also, you're looking at the guys that are 40 years old now.
There's a lot of
they have that could come back 10 years from now and make those and have those kind of runs. And I mean,
shoot,
I hate to say it, but Dolph Ziggler's not coming back at 52 for a big Saudi payday. He's a great worker, but he's not that level. Like he's just not.
Exactly.
No disrespect to him because he's he's great at what he does.
I'm just saying, man. I've always said that Dolph Ziggler can sell me crack. I'm just saying.
No doubt. Like he said, him and you go to the Miz, you go to some guys like that. These guys are solidly upper mid card, guys that have earned their keep and they deserve, what they've gotten, but they're not headliners and they're not going to be back for big paydays.
Granted, here's a hot take. I want to see what y'all think about it. The way the Miz works and everything, I still see him in the ring 10 years from now, almost to the level of what Chris Jericho's doing right now.
I don't think he's got the star power that Jericho has. That's hard to say because Jericho. I mean, Jericho's got a different level of respect too. The Miz never paid his dues. He never did any of that stuff. And Jericho is internationally traveled. They're still bringing it back. Would they have him come out as Lionheart? Like people still care about that legacy of Jericho and all the stuff he did. The Miz had none of that. Okay. Miz is a tough enough product of MTV turned into wrestling.
But with that said, while all of that is respected from Jericho, well traveled, everything, whatnot. All of those accolades feeds into that AEW base.
Yeah.
The Miz on the other hand, homegrown, been through all these different maturations under the WWE umbrella. He's a WWE icon, and that fan base is kind of different though.
He's not. I don't see him at the star level that Jericho's at.
I see what you're saying on that though.
Jericho is a solid.
I don't
main event talent. Been that way for 20 years now. Mm-hmm. And the Miz, I don't think the Miz, WWE champion or not, I don't think the Miz ever really reached, like, to me, main event status. I think he's a solid upper mid card guy that got to run with the belt. It was kind of a flop. Let's be honest. And the only reason he wrestled John Cena at WrestleMania was to further the Rock John Cena storyline. He was just a piece in there. Really, he was irrelevant. John Cena needed somebody to wrestle, and then the Rock to get involved. Like you could have inserted Dolph Ziggler or anybody in that position, and made it happen because the story is about John Cena and the Rock.
The biggest story was the next night on Raw.
Correct. And then the Miz, the Miz carried the belt until they were ready to put it back on. It was one, you got to look at too during that time in WWE. Look at all the people they put world titles on. They put the world title on Jack Swagger. All right. Is Jack Swagger going to be coming back to Saudi Arabia for $1 million pay? No. And he wasn't any kind of main eventer. Like they just tried that a lot. They tried putting the belt on, they tried throwing shit to the wall and seeing what would stick. And it didn't work a lot of times. And I hate to say it, but there's a reason the Miz got placed solidly, as Intercontinental Champion and put in that position for a long time, especially when that title didn't mean anything, is because he just never really ascended to that main event level. He's a guy you can throw in there, at the top. You could throw him in there in some bigger matches, but it's clear what his role is when he's going out there putting Logan Paul over. And that's no knocking him. He's very good at what he does. And he's a solid worker. He's a solid part of the company. He doesn't have to worry about his job. But they need him for a different reason, and it's not to be the top guy.
Yeah, I think because I was watching Stone Cold's podcast with I can't think of his name, the guy with the beard. I can't think of his name right now.
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
I gotta finish watching that one. That one.
It was pretty good. Good.
Yeah.
But he did say, Sami Zayn did say he wondered why he cannot be at the top main level. But then he realized, he said, you know what? I'm just gonna stay where I'm at and do the best where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes you're not made to be the top guy. Sometimes you're made to be the clown of the show.
Yeah.
What was that? I missed it.
It's a bottle cap opener. That's a big bottle cap opener.
Hey, I'll never lose it.
I think for Sami Zayn, I think he could have done more, in respect to his cosmetic appearance. And here I go again going into Booker T territory, talking about stuff. But I think Sami Zayn could put a little more work in, and he might have done a little more. But I think he was comfortable where he was at. And I think part of that is, the time period he came in, and, he came in with Kevin around the same time, a little bit before Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe and some of these guys. And some of these guys that were stars, not that Sami Zayn definitely didn't carry the name power that Samoa Joe did, like outside of WWE.
Right.
And so that's how Samoa Joe got to get away with a little more, because Joe already had a reputation and a name, and he was a star on TNA. And people knew the moment Samoa Joe got in a feud in TNA with Kurt Angle, people started knowing who he was. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that was a big deal. He was Kurt Angle's first feud really in TNA. So he got attached to somebody like that. His stock went up, like you said, but Sami Zayn worked under a mask.
Yeah.
So nobody knew who that was El Generico, and El Generico wasn't even that big of a star. He wasn't as big of a star as Kevin Steen was in Ring of Honor, or Joe was outside,
Right.
He was kind of, and again, but the thing is, like, I like the idea of like that crazy character, the conspiracy theorist character where he grew his hair out. That's his best work. But when he was thinking just, El Generico without a mask on, coming out there like, doing dancing and stuff like that was going to be headlining WrestleMania. Nah. That's a solid, again, good at what he does, but I hate to say it, but you look at some of these guys, and this will take me into somebody like Jonathan Gresham. You can't help that you're 5'4", but I mean, dude's killed it in the gym and put in work to try to get where, to do the best with what he had to create a good look and stuff like that. So I can't fault a guy like Jonathan Gresham for putting on 30 pounds of pure muscle, no matter what means he used to do it. But I guess that's another topic we can get into in a second too, because that's a big story.
I just sent both of y'all something that in the chat that I want y'all to look at, because this is what I've been having a lot of arguments with people.
About. Was that the thing about Roman and Becky Lynch?
Yeah.
Well,
here's the thing. This was my argument. I said, I don't think it's fair that Roman get to sit his ass down and relax now that he's the top guy. Triple H didn't have that opportunity. Undertaker, Stone Cold, all the greats did not have that opportunity.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch.
Hulk Hogan did. Hulk Hogan had a 4-year title run and barely ever wrestled on TV.
Okay. But at that time, wasn't the WWE still in
different era too?
Yeah, but I mean, let's face it. But here's my argument for that.
Okay.
When Hogan wrestled, how big of a deal was it when they came on Saturday night's main event?
Huge.
Or at SummerSlam, because they only had 4 pay-per-views a month.
Huge.
It was it was a really big deal when Hogan wrestled, and that added prestige to him and the championship, because you might get lucky on a primetime wrestling to see the Intercontinental Champion or the Tag Team Champions. And that wasn't even every week. Let's be honest. You didn't see Demolition on TV every week. You didn't see Mr. Perfect on TV every week. But when you did, it was kind of a treat. But Hogan, it was mostly just him cutting promos on TV. And then
Roman Reigns haven't really been doing that too much. He's been at home.
He's been showing up
now
on TV.
Now Triple H is in. Now Triple H took over. He is showing up.
Like now it's like week on, week off, week on.
Yeah. Now for a while, you didn't see him like a month,
because they're building up to this show and freaking what's the name? Then
but my argument was this though. I said Becky Lynch has a point. When she put out that tweet, she had a point. And she was like, I showed up to work. I'm like, yeah, she did. When she had both titles, she showed up to work.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then people has been taking shots at Roman Reigns throughout the show, throughout everything. Excuse me, fellas, y'all go ahead. Excuse me right quick. I'll be right back.
It's okay. No, I was just going to say, I think honestly, I kind of appreciate what they've done with him to a degree, just because I think they've tried hard to make him, to to make him the guy and kind of make it important, you know. And I kind of think the audience probably, you know, has been conditioned for a long time to expect the title to be defended here and there and stuff like that. But,
and that's where I was gonna go with it. But like we got used to in the attitude era Monday Night Wars, we got used to champions being on TV every week. Why?
Yeah.
Because the WCW is doing it. Where's we have our champion,
right.
vice versa, and it became the norm that the champion is there every week.
Right.
Now that's not the case anymore. And they try to bring it back, trying to rein that in. It's kind of a slippery slope. AEW, they've had, as interim champion, they've had freaking Moxley on every freaking show, either in a contenders match or he's defending the interim championship. Some of the stuff he defended against people with no freaking build up.
Yeah. Same thing with Claudio wrestling a Japanese guy for the Ring of Honor. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything by not knowing the dude's name, but I just genuinely don't know who he is anyway because I don't watch DDT.
He's Takeshita. He's been in the States for a month. Really hit the ground running with AEW. Some good showings and whatnot. He just left to go back to Japan. I understood that one because he's been wrestling on Dark. He's been wrestling on Dynamite, on Rampage, and having some bangers of matches.
Yeah, but what did he do to deserve a shot at supposedly a world championship? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was winning on AEW.
Okay, but I mean, but he wasn't. It's not like he went out there and beat Bryan Danielson or somebody. You know, beat some bigger name star to get a world title shot at it. You know what I mean? Like if he's beating, you know, if he's out there beating freaking, you know, any jabroni on there, it's like, you know, this stupid FTW title and stuff like that, and making it seem like anybody cares. You're calling it a world championship. It's an unsanctioned world championship. And then you got Johnny Jobber out there. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't, you know, big deal. Like Danhausen gets a shot at Ricky Starks in the FTW title. Like, really? Am I really going to care? Like, that's not, you call that a world championship match? That's, you got 3 titles on one show you're calling world champions. And then I've got my own, you know, like, I guess another story to go into is this whole controversy at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view where you had, 2 weeks of buildup and not even really that with Jonathan Gresham and Claudio. There's no real story there other than the fact that congratulations, we signed Claudio, and now to make him happy or whatever, we're giving him the Ring of Honor world title. And there was no build. You're telling me you signed Jonathan Gresham to this multi-year deal and he's apparently important to you, but you're just going to have him run out there, drop the title with no real build.
All in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah. And you got, Wrestling 101, why would you do that? Why would you not have, even if it's a schmozz finish and he keeps the belt, something you could come back to?
Because their AEW is catering to its base. If AEW don't do anything else, they will cater to their base.
But doesn't their fan base like Jonathan Gresham?
Claudio coming in hot. Yeah. He came in hot, and they are capitalizing on that. On that. Jonathan Gresham is an awesome freaking talent, excellent wrestler. He's not moving that needle for AEW.
No, but put the title on Claudio, but make it make sense and get some money out of it.
I got you on that. I got you on that.
And if I had to guess what Jonathan Gresham's real beef is, because of course Dirt Sheets is going to tell you he threw a tantrum, and I don't believe any of that. What I believe is he probably had the common sense as a guy that's trying to get paid in the wrestling business too, to go, hold on, like if I'm going to do this, like why aren't we building up to this and doing something?
Make it make sense.
Yeah, make it make sense.
You can't make it make sense. You can't
build it up for a few months and get something out of it. And really, like, I understand Claudio came in, wrestled Zack Sabre Jr. last minute, and everything like that. So but here's the thing: why not at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view have Jonathan Gresham be a heel, retain the title against somebody, and then Claudio have that face-off with him after Claudio smashes somebody, and then you let it simmer like they on each other. Claudio's on his tail for some months, and then you have a big moment, right? Because that's common sense. Is like,
that's a unique thing they're doing right now with AEW, Ring of Honor being under the same ownership, Ring of Honor not having their own TV, so they can tell these storylines. So they literally just shotgun that thing. I don't even do we even know as to when that next Ring of Honor pay-per-view is?
Nope.
And the thing about it, with the one that they did put out there, how much notice they give from when they announced it to the date? I think
they did. Nobody knew that match was really happening.
It's like three weeks, maybe 4. Like, by the way, we're gonna have the Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
They just said that Jonathan Gresham was defending the title for a while, and they never say who. And the next thing you know, it's like, a week and a half, 2 weeks, and it's Claudio. And it's like, okay. And then they, out of nowhere, just turn Jonathan Gresham heel, which makes really no sense. Like if anything, there's just so many creative ways you could have gone with this to make them have a good rivalry and make some money. And then, yes, you crown Claudio. You make him the champion, because you want to get your money's worth at this dude and have him carry the ball, but you got to get there.
This is what you said. They had a ready-made deal. Had freaking associated with Tully. They had all those 3 guys.
Then they fired Tully.
And
they got Prince Nana coming out there with him, and you could tell Jonathan Gresham was like, I don't even know this dude. Like, he's walking out here with me, and he didn't even really walk out with him. He just kind of was at ringside after he walked out there.
Exactly.
And Gresham didn't put on his octopus mask. He didn't have the flag. He's just kind of like, here's the belt. Here, since you're not going, since you pretty much made it clear, I'm nothing to you, and I'm just coming out here. I'm just the guy carrying the belt out here to hand it to Claudio. I could see where Jonathan Gresham was a little sour grapes on that, a little bit bitter, because, let's give Jonathan Gresham his due. When the company went on its hiatus in the first place before he bought it, Jonathan Gresham was everywhere on every independent, on Impact, carrying Ring of Honor flag.
He deserved
more respect.
He wasn't out of sight, out of mind. He was still freaking out there.
He kept it alive.
So it's like,
give him a little more respect than that. If you're going to turn him heel, let's make it. I mean, just like a lot of these decisions, it's like, we're going to put him with Tully, and we're going to create this group around Tully. And by the way, the pay-per-view, we just found out Tully ain't here no more. Like a week later.
Can we? I think we all can be in agreement that the honeymoon phase of AEW is officially over.
Yeah, especially when
it's been over. It's been over.
It was over when Cody.
It's been over.
And people started seeing
I think it was over before that.
Yeah. He Tony Khan has exposed himself in a sense by over hiring talent, not being able to manage it. He does seem to be focused on Wardlow. He's still shoving Darby Allin down people's throats, and people have clearly soured on him and not really cared because, again, he's just like, okay, I mean, you could put him over everybody, but it's not going to matter. Like, he's just not, that's another guy who hasn't spent, he hasn't done anything to improve himself to me. And I don't watch it religiously, but I catch clips and I catch time, and I see the same Darby Allin I saw in 2019. I don't see anything different in the presentation. I don't see any work in the gym, gear change, anything. Like, it's the same Daisy Dukes and leggings and that little bird chest body coming out there diving, And the bad thing is he weighs 150 pounds and he can't even do a moonsault. He's just diving off on his back. What the hell? I mean, like,
that base loves him.
I don't think they do anymore. I think he's kind of lost it. I think he's kind of, that ship has sailed. I don't think they care about it. They seem to care. They care about Wardlow. I think they care about Hook, even though now giving him the FTW title, he might as well just handed that thing right in the trash as soon as he got it, no matter whose belt it is. Yeah. But, they care about him and stuff like that. But they, they obviously care about people like CM Punk and they care about Claudio and they care about John Moxley and Jericho. And there's a handful of guys, but then they got another 400 freaking employees that that they don't care about, and they still haven't figured out what to do with Jay Lethal. And they still, you got that much of a talented guy to the point where Ric Flair gets you to train him for his last match, and he's not good enough really to do anything of note on there besides get Wardlow over now.
See, that's why I said the honeymoon phase is over. Yeah. Because once something exciting, it's just like when you buy a brand new car. You love it for the first couple of months. You washing it, you backing out, you making sure it's shining. But then after you had it for a few months, all of that attention you used to put into it, keeping it looking good, starts fading away. That's what I think about AEW. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was great at first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now what?
It's going to be interesting over the second half of the year with Triple H taking over and whatnot. So folks are coming back to watch the WWE brand a little bit. It's going to be interesting how this year closes out.
Another thing about that Ring of Honor thing, tell me again, if you're going to have a match between FTR and the Briscoes. Mm-hmm. And okay, clearly they've hired the Briscoes. Now they just won't put them on AEW TV due to past controversies that mean really nothing. Like in the grand scheme of thing, you got something that happened 11 years ago, and you're telling me there's an executive at Turner Media or whatever that says no Briscoes because they said something homophobic 11 years ago. For that matter, they used to wear Confederate flag singlets, but they don't anymore.
Right.
And clearly, they don't say anything in their promos to imply that they're a bunch of racist bigot, and stuff like that. So like, I think, can't we move past that a little bit and like give the Briscoes the benefit of the doubt? No.
I hear you.
Give them a chance. Give them a chance.
I hear you. However,
They came and they put FTR over the first time, gave them the belts. Then they came back and they announced that the Briscoes were signed to Ring of Honor. And they have a 2 out of 3 falls match. And what they do, they lost to FTR again. It's like, well, what do you do with them now?
It's the same thing you do with Ring of Honor. You sit down and wait. Apparently,
and you pay the Briscoes to wrestle for GCW in places and hope they don't get hurt like they do. That's another thing. Guess what Vince McMahon never would do? Put a talent under contract and then let him go work death matches on the indies. Because Vince McMahon is not going to let his investment go get hurt somewhere where he can't use them. But guess who is letting him do that?
Hey, man. Hey, shoot. Hey.
Hey. And that's a criticism I'm gonna go full Jim Cornette here and go on John Moxley. If you're making millions of dollars and you're the world champion of AEW, why are you going letting somebody bust light tubes over your head on an indie show with 500 people at it for their championship when this company's paying you probably 5 times as much, and you're going to risk your shot on this major company to go get busted over the head by Nick Gage with some damn light tubes and get carved up with you know what I mean? Like for peanuts. And I'm sure John Moxley gets paid, but I guarantee Tony Khan's probably paying John Moxley a lot more than GCW is.
I'm looking it up right now. What it reportedly is.
But either way it goes, I don't care if he got paid.
I'm not letting my world champion go get busted up.
That's what I'm saying.
I am not letting that.
I invested in this guy. Exactly. He's going to stick here with me. Exactly. I let him work some regular shows with me.
Or I'm not putting my belt on him. I know that.
Yes,
I'm not putting my belt on somebody.
Me.
And guess what he's probably about to do? I hope he loses the AEW world title because it looks like he's about to probably put Nick Gage over. So, like, Nick Gage is putting, I just saw that news. Nick Gage is putting his career on the line versus Moxley in the GCW world title. And it's like, if you're John Moxley, what the hell are you doing with yourself? Like, you're a multi-millionaire WWE superstar, for what? What are you going to do? Let this dude hit you with light tubes for? Like,
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Oh,
reportedly, Moxley makes $6 million a year annual salary
at AEW.
There is no way in hell you doing anything outside of AEW. If I'm giving you $6 million a year,
I had to do 1 to 2 matches a week, and you're paying me that much. I'm saving
just to combat that, y'all.
Yeah.
Just to combat that, Roman Reigns make $5 million a year. You think WWE should have let him go somewhere else?
Hell no. They're not about to go let him go. Roman Reigns going to show up at, GCW.
Hell no.
And take on Effie. I'm sorry, man. You're not. No. If I was Roman Reigns, I wouldn't want to be seen on places like that.
No, because that'll hurt your star credit. Yes. That'll hurt your, no.
And that's where I somewhat agree with WWE in regards to branding and intellectual property.
Yeah.
Intellectual property, like that's our branding. That's what I said. There is a reason why certain superstars don't have the WWE name outside of WWE.
Right.
It's like WWE understands.
Yeah, they put money into you. They put you on TV. They make you a star. They want you to they want you to be a star for them.
So a lot of folks will disagree with me on that, but it's like,
do that make sense? What if an accident happened and John Moxley, like Lita back in the day, have a serious neck injury? He's the
AEW Interim World Champion.
Yep.
There you go.
He's the guy that's been carrying the company for the last couple of months.
Two recognized world champions are on the shelf. What is the status of your championship?
That's that time for the interim. I mean, what the heck? Like, yeah, and if you're trying to build to a match, and it's clear CM Punk is not ready to wrestle yet, but they're gonna start that build, and that's good. Mm. But if John Moxley goes and puts Nick Gage over at GCW, why am I going to come watch CM Punk? Just what I mean? Like, he just got beat,
Exactly.
So and then if he gets hurt, then your match is off. Now you just be like, well, CM Punk's the champion. So
and just put in the context, Nick Gage wrestled on AEW. Chris Jericho beat him. So
yeah, he's got the only credibility that was there is because they wanted a death match, and he's just crazy enough to do it for peanuts.
Yeah.
So they probably gave Nick Gage $150, a hot dog, and a handshake. They probably, and he probably went out and look. He was probably so in love with that he was on major cable television. He might have done it for free. Hell,
sure. I'm sure
they paid him the hot dog. They paid him the hot dog. So
I'm sure Domino's appreciated it. He used that piece of cutter of Jericho and then went to a Domino's commercial. You can't write that better. You really can't. You just can't do it.
The one thing
you cannot write that better. That was some of the best. So that was some of the best moments right there. Like he used a piece of cutter, then you cut to a Domino's commercial. I was like, that was perfect. That was perfect. I couldn't write that even better.
Man.
So I guess let's try to come up with another thing. What do you know about this situation with Nick Aldis and the NWA?
I don't.
Me neither.
I don't, because I was listening to Busted Open when Corgan was on, and he was when he took Aldis out and he put in Tyrus.
Yeah, Tyrus. I don't know. Yeah, I in one respect, I could see Nick Aldis being in the main. I was excited because they acted like Tim Storm had a chance, and I was like, that's one thing I think they dropped the ball with, because understandably Tim's an old man,
right?
But he was originally, when Billy Corgan bought the NWA, Tim Storm was the champion,
right? And
Tim, but what they didn't expect to happen was that this audience was going to fall in love with him,
exactly.
And they did. And that's why they kind of stalled and took their time switching the belt, because they wanted to get a little, like in common sense, they wanted to get a little money out of this feud and see if they could have a series of matches before they put the belt on Nick Aldis in the first place. But, you know, I mean, that's another thing where you know it comes off the stink of a work comes off on this, just because you're telling me for all these years that Nick Aldis has been the poster child for the NWA and Billy Corgan's number one guy, and all of a sudden they just don't get along.
It's like,
you already know something ain't going right behind the scenes. So,
well, you know, it's like, are you telling me a story or are you telling me a story?
Yeah.
So it's like, and it's kind of thing like, I'll wait and see. When is NWA 74?
It's in 2 weeks. It's on the 28th.
Because when that came out with Corgan, I was sitting there thinking like, okay, so they're gonna go that route. How are they gonna weave all this back into the title picture before the show?
Yeah, exactly. Or you know, now Matt Cardona's healed and ready to wrestle, so he's having some kind of open challenge, and I'm like, well, the story was kind of between Matt Cardona and Nick Aldis before you know, it happened with Matt Cardona, and they wound up switching the belt to Trevor Murdoch again. Right. Which to me was a good call, just because switching it right back to Nick Aldis probably wasn't going to go over that well.
Right.
They need some more time to let that build up, and honestly, like, if you're going to do anything, a Matt Cardona Nick Aldis feud without the belt, where somebody comes out the other end and gets it back in the long run, might be the way to go. But it's kind of sad now, because I think they thought Matt Cardona was going to be out longer, and now he's back. It's kind of like, dang, man.
It really wasn't that long.
No, he could have just kept the belt. You know, just let him hold on to it for a few months and let him come back. And that's one of those things. It's like, you probably just could have let him run with it a little bit. I mean, you know, and let this just be a thing. I mean, a lot of stuff has changed, though, because, you know, I think they thought they must have thought, at least to some degree, they were going to have Sam Shaw for a little bit, but then Hector Lewis showed back up on Monday Night Raw, so they don't have him anymore. And it looks like they've brought in EC3, which I'm confused by, because the man comes off to me like for a shoot that he's lost his mind.
Damn.
I mean, seriously, because if anyone who thought control your narrative was a good idea for a wrestling company, gotta be high as a dang gum kite. Like, you know?
Some folks have gone to it. They going on a freaking tour. They're supposed to be here in Texas, I think sometime in October, if I'm not mistaken. They're doing a loop. They're doing a tour. So
yeah, but aren't they wrestling in bars for like 100 people or something? Like, I mean, it's not. They got Braun Strowman out there acting like I mean, that's another thing. You know, this is a guy that walked out of WWE and thought he was freaking Brock Lesnar, like he was just going to warrant, you know, big paydays and stuff like that. It's like, come on, man, you never got over. Like, God. Listen, I don't care how many times you were world champion, you weren't over. Like, it's just the way it is. You never got over. You never really.
But you got these hands.
Yeah, come on, man. Like, I don't get
it. That was cool. I had that shirt on.
I liked that slogan, but he did need to, you know, put in a little bit more work. I love that slogan.
It's not like he really is some big star.
Yeah,
and he need to put in more work. Show he's been on has drawn big crowds either. So
exactly.
I'm sorry, he's just not that. You know, he wasn't a star like that. It's not. I mean, like, you know, it's not like if Kane decided to hit the Indies, like that's gonna, you know what I mean. Like, people would come out and see that. Like, or Stone Cold decided to take some random indie booking, that's going to draw a big house.
Yeah.
Like, but. Yeah. Braun Strowman showing up, and he's like, I want $15,000 for a match. And it's like, okay, well, good luck. Yeah. Good luck to you. That's like people say it's Sasha Banks on the Indies was going to charge third.
She'll get it.
No, I think
she will get no. The true Indies will pay that.
Nah, they ain't got that money. Show me anybody that on the Indies decide
what's
she gonna do.
So freaking North. I don't know who the promoter is in Northeast Wrestling up in the New England. but they're constantly bringing in those folks.
They're not paying them that much though.
Well, see, that's her hometown, so you know.
Mm.
So of course,
Now
she's gonna draw it in.
could she get a couple of $1,000s for a booking? Sure, and that's reasonable. And that's reasonable for a type of crowd you could draw like in this place like that. But you know, even like I will say this from working with guys like Jeff Jarrett and stuff like that, and how much they charged back in.
Yeah.
Like for instance, we had this big show in Greenville, Mississippi that drew about 4,500 people. Right. Independent show, like it was a big March of Dimes fundraiser, and we brought in Jeff Jarrett for that. And I want to say we paid like $1,500. Now keep in mind this is 04, so he was the NWA World Champion. You know, he hadn't been off of WCW or WWE television that long. Mm-hmm. You know, we're paying him $1,500 plus plus airfare and hotel. And I could see that. And like even in today's money, that being maybe like $2,000, $2,500, something like that. But there again, you're talking about the Mid-South and Jeff Jarrett versus, you know, and there again, he drew a crowd to this indie show. So like the ends justified the means. Like there was a profit that got paid to the March of Dimes and stuff like that. They ended up being a good payoff. I'm not paying $15,000 for Sasha Banks to come out there, and then I'd end up drawing like 2,000 people or something, and then I can't justify that payday with that crowd. You know, I'd have to draw, you know, like all in, like to pay for that.
I see what you're saying, Joey, but at the same time, I'm not gonna say she would get 15,000, but I think her payday would be up there a little bit.
She will get it, but not up front, and it'll be at stuff like these conventions.
Yeah.
That they don't pay that kind of money up front. They will pay you like a small stipend to come there, and then the money you make is going to be off the autographs and all that stuff. Now, can she make $15,000 at a convention? Probably,
easily.
Yeah, but nobody's just going to front $15,000 cash money up front for her. I don't see that happening. Nobody's got that kind of money on the indies. You know, like it's just nobody's rolling that hard where they're drawing, you know, 7,000-8,000 people in a crowd. It could justify, you know, but even then, you know, you do the math on that, and then you got to pay for a building and all your, you know what I mean? Like, where am I going to get $15,000 out of her for an appearance? Unless it's now again, she can work for somebody like, what's his Conrad. She could go to a Starcast or something like that. But again, is he going to pay you $15,000 up front? No. He's going to give you some, and then you're going to come set up a table and make all the money you want. You know, but you're gonna have to bring your assistant with you and all your pictures and somebody to collect the money. You know, like it's, you know, it just doesn't. Conrad, whatever his name is, Thompson. Yeah. He's not gonna pull out $15,000 cash and hand it to anybody. Ric Flair alone. You know what I mean?
No, I can agree. I can agree with that.
That's not his business model.
But I would think she would draw. Now, how much? That I guess it depends. But I think she would draw because of her status.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's an advertisable event, you know, she doesn't get to use her name or anything or any of that stuff too. So you lose a little bit of value right there. You know, a lot of that stuff. Now, needless to say, she's probably not going to have to do that because she's probably going to be back on Raw this week. But you know,
I'm just saying. So
yeah, so she's probably, you know, she made a couple little appearances, her and Naomi, but I'm pretty sure she's like a lot of these people, and Triple H probably already told her to lay low. You know what I mean? And he'll and wait, because I'm pretty sure, knowing from my personal experience with guys that have gotten the call back up to WWE and stuff like that, there's a time period where he will, somebody will tell you,
go off the grid.
Yeah. Don't sign no contracts. Yeah. Just, stay independent. Take your bookings, make your little money. This is the time frame. We don't worry. We'll be in touch. I'm calling you back. You're coming back and stuff like that. And then, sure enough, like I remember when I was this is before King Mabel came back as Viscera. Like he told us at one of the indie shows. So he's like, well, in about 4 weeks, I'm gonna be back on Monday Night Raw, and we were like, he's probably working us. And sure enough, he was like, no. He was like, no. That's why I'm telling you, like, we need to kill this angle today because I'm not coming back.
Oh,
and sure enough, that was when he debuted as Viscera or whatever. Like, he wasn't kidding. Like, he was letting us know. Vince gave him the call, and it was time for him to come back up.
Finish your commitments.
But yeah, exactly. And don't sign no contracts, no matter where. Like, like, hey, if you sign with AEW,
that's why I said
back.
That's why I said in the beginning, I think it was kind of suspicious that a lot of these wrestlers that's coming back now, Vince is gone, didn't sign contracts. I really do think Vince was trying to bring them back, but I can be wrong.
Yeah,
I think they knew he was on his way out.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said I can be wrong, but it is suspicious that they didn't go nowhere else.
First off, Vince didn't have nothing to do with it. We're talking about John Laurinaitis. John Laurinaitis is the one that let them go. So, like, so I think they knew the writing was on the wall for Johnny Ace, and that Triple H probably let him know, lay low, for a little bit,
exactly,
and give me a few months, and we'll have a fresh, nice new contract in front of you.
And like, my whole thing is like if they bring Sasha Banks back, I don't think they're gonna bring her back on a Raw.
Wherever they do,
I know it's gonna be a little bit. They're gonna wait to a big show.
Yeah, but I mean, they acted like. I mean, my thing is, if they are going to bring her and Naomi back together, they might as well have just let them keep the damn belts and just show back up with the belts.
Maybe that's when they appear. When they crown the new champions, then they see them there.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna. If they do go with that scenario, it's gonna be a clash at the castle because that's when they are supposed to have the final matches for the belt. So we'll see.
It makes somewhat sense. So
yeah.
All right,
I got one question. One question before we get out of here, y'all.
Yeah.
Kind of quickly, who y'all think gonna turn heel? Who y'all think gonna turn face?
Okay. For what?
I'm sorry.
For who?
Anybody, any company, AEW, WWE, TNA, whatever.
Well, I guess first off, where does Cody Rhodes fit into WWE when he comes back?
That's a good question.
Because it looks like Triple H has found him some. I wouldn't say so much Drew McIntyre, but clearly he wants to do something with Karrion Kross. Like there's no doubt that man's getting pushed. But there's a lot of questions there. Cody Rhodes is coming back. Where does Theory fit into it? Because it's, to me, right now, it's not believable for Theory to cash that briefcase in at all.
It don't make sense. He's the one he's the one who can lay low, really, for real.
Yeah, they just need to let that simmer. But but there again, this is the company that put Otis as Money in the Bank. So whose idea was that?
Oh yeah,
wasn't my idea.
Oh my God, right? That was a head scratch.
They're like, he's the new Dusty Rhodes. And we're like, oh no, he's not. Like, he's not the new Dusty Rhodes.
I was thinking the storyline between him and Mandy for a little bit, but it's like
that had a shelf life, and you knew it. Like that wasn't going to lead to a world championship. Like,
no, it wasn't.
I know.
It wasn't.
Now, I mean, granted, his best work now is with Chad Gable. Like game, and Chad Gable's kind of come out. Like, that's a guy to watch. Like that. Yeah. But I mean,
I don't know why, but that is so funny and annoying to me at the same time.
It's working for him.
Funny at the same time.
It's working for him. He knows what he's doing. He's doing something that's getting people to react.
Thank you.
So I could see long term.
Thank you.
If they break those tag titles back up, I could definitely see them going back home to Alpha Academy. Like, that's a good. And I could see them as baby faces too in the long run. Like, that could be a good gimmick where they could turn babyface even and get a run out of it.
If done right.
I think, to be honest with you, I was thinking when Cody Rhodes come back, he was going to turn heel, and I was thinking pretty soon not Drew McIntyre. I'm sorry, Roman Reigns was going to turn face. But hey, we'll see.
I think
That
if
was
that
just
happens, Roman's going to go away for a while when he finally does lose the title. I don't see him just turning face amidst the title reign, because that kind of is, what's the point? You know, like,
yeah.
I mean, because he's kind of like, I mean, yes, people, some, you know, he does have his fans that cheer him. It's clear, and you know, but some, you know, there's a lot of people that like what he's doing, and people are definitely into the acknowledge me thing. Like, that has worked for him so well. Like,
It does.
not just because Man Up has done it, but just because, like, it's clear, like, that's
I'm just saying.
the crowd is doing it. The
That's
crowd
why I
loves it.
started laughing, because I was like, I know y'all seen my videos when I do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's you know, he's built layers to this during this whole 2-year ordeal. You know, like, it just keeps building on that, and so it's kind of like, how do you, in a way, it's kind of like, you know, can they get another year out of it? But I'm sure. Let's face it, Roman's had cancer, so at the same time, Roman's got to take care of Roman. Or Joe Anoa'i's got to take care of himself. Like, he's got to, you know, there may be a reason he's not, you know, out there taking bumps every night. Like, he might not be able to, you know, like he might have to watch his body and ease up every now and again and give it a rest per his oncologist, you know, like,
Yeah.
But it's clear when you look at the pecking order in the company who the top guy is. Like, it's not even a joke. And that's why I think, in a sense, it was the smart thing, at least for the temporary, to put both titles on him, because basically anybody else with the other one just kind of looks secondary, you know, because it was very clear he's the top guy in the company. Like, there's no doubt. Like, no matter what show he was on, he's the guy. Like, he's where the focal point of the thing was and everything. And for the women's division, I think they got not enough girls per what they need to be doing. You know, I think they don't have enough. I think the women's division and what they want to do with it is a nice idea, but they've never been able to staff it. And,
well, and hopefully that's something that could be a freaking remedy, because there's a couple folks in NXT that they can bring up.
yeah, but when half the Royal Rumble is names you have to bring back, it's kind of like you need like 15 other girls.
Exactly.
Like, you don't, I mean, when you're bringing back Tori Wilson to get thrown out and 60-year-old Ivory and people like that, it's kind of like,
last Royal Rumble, they ain't use none from NXT.
Right.
Yeah. So, but that you know that's going to change with Triple H. That's going to change.
Of course.
That's going to change. And there's a lot of ladies in NXT right now who aren't ready for the main roster, but they're getting built up. But when you got your Toxic Attraction, when you got Roxanne Perez, you got friggin' Alba Fire, you got all these ladies who are they're main roster ready right now, but they're in NXT.
Well, I got a name for you right now, and I can't understand this. Why is Taya Valkyrie not there?
Ooh, good one.
Like, you know, other than the fact that I watched her interview with Chris Van Vliet, and, you know, it's like once somebody found out she was 37 years old, they were like, yeah, we're done with her. But I mean, why? Because she's good in the ring now.
She's
definitely main roster in ring wise.
Yeah,
she's ready made, and she's got a, you know, she's not a
they dropped the ball with that one, man.
Yeah,
they dropped the ball. What are you doing? Oh my gosh,
Deonna Purrazzo.
They dropped the Mia Yim.
They had all that talent under contract, and they couldn't figure out what to do with them. Like,
Vince couldn't figure out what to do with them.
Chelsea Green also.
Chelsea Vince is gone though. I think a lot of them is going to come back.
Green kept getting injured too, so it's like,
that's true too. But I mean, like, so does Sasha Banks.
That's her momentum, man.
Nobody's more fragile than Sasha Banks.
That's
true.
The
reason she doesn't get the singles belt, because they can't put it on her for more than a month. Like, now, but I mean, she's over, so she gets away with it a little more. But I mean, let's be honest. Every time she got on top and they started having a run with her, she got hurt. You know, she just like it's look at Paige. Like, you know, but I agree. looking strictly at like Taya, Mia Yim, Deanna Purrazzo, people like that have just
all right.
become great.
Last question. Then we're gonna end it. Now she's out from under the WWE umbrella. Does Paige Saraya Knight do she wrestle again
In WWE?
No, outside of WWE.
Yeah, she will.
You think she will?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
and it's not going to be a good idea.
So, but we shall see. We have seen stranger things in this world of professional wrestling, so we shall see. So we thank everybody for tuning in. We're back. I don't know for how long, but we're back.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna get a schedule. We're gonna get a good schedule.
Yeah, so it's not random. We pop up on you guys. So we appreciate you guys checking us out. Y'all stay tuned. Keep it drama free, sucker free. Shout out to Ben on that note, and we're out of here. Appreciate y'all.